wish you a Merry Christmas. Hi, Elaine Marilakos-Edelson here with Astrology Mojo. And wow, we got a lot going on, don't we? Yes, we do. Come join me, say hello if you're not familiar with me and what I say. What we talk about are all things consciousness related, and astrology, and how the planets in astrology don't make you do anything. That we live in a cooperation with the cosmos, so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. And when you make a move, the planets reflect that in the cosmos. It's like looking at a mirror and a description of your behavior. So let's flip it on its head, okay? Because you're not a puppet, and you have the power to create your world. That's what I like to talk about here. So come join me, say hello. We have a lot going on. Well, we're still in the lunar eclipse of Gemini, 8 degrees. And now coming up on the solar eclipse in Sagittarius at 23 degrees, and on December 14th. And it's going to feel like the possibilities are endless. It's going to feel like the old guard is going away. What do you think, huh? And the old guard can be a patriarchal system. The old guard can be a part of you that is limited or self-sabotaging. The old guard can represent the parts of your world, your consciousness, and your awareness that say, yeah, I don't want to be a victim anymore. That's the old guard. I'm not subjected to. I am not under the thumb of. And sometimes when we look at a society and we think, oh my gosh, there's so much, we have so much to be grateful for in any society, because we still are who we are, and we have the ability to break out of a shell and make it what we want. It's called conscious manifestation and intention. But sometimes we have to get beyond our own self-inflicted limits from this century, from previous centuries, from times where we might have felt victimized or incomplete or incompetent or insecure. And we've all had those moments, right? So, I mean, there's so much to talk about. What's going on? Hey, Brittany's here. Hello. Come say hello to me. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And I'm just looking at all the birds trying to get into the bird bath out there, and the water's frozen. And they're looking at each other like, is it you, Gus, or is it me? What's going on here? Can't get a drink. Oh my gosh. So Facebook changed its performance, its look, its interface. So I was doing this yesterday going, wait a second, where's my stuff? How do I do this? So we have to constantly keep up with the times, don't we? Don't we? And that's what the Sagittarius axis on the Gemini deal is showing us. It's like, okay. You can judge it. You can, let's say, be upset by it. Absolutely. I have to let go of my astrology program that I've been using for over 30 years. They sold the business. And now, so I have to get accustomed to the new program. A little at a time. I'm doing tutorials. It looks different. It feels different. It does different things. You know how that is. It's like learning a new language. And because Sagittarius runs the 9th house in the general charts in astrology, guides the 9th house, we're looking at higher consciousness, publishing, different cultures, different languages, if not actual travel. So with the solar eclipse in Sagittarius, there's going to be a whole lot of changes going on in the travel industry. Yeah, right? We just read, my husband and I read that, I forget, it was Norwegian or Royal Caribbean. They're taking on beta testers, 200 passengers or 250 maximum, just to test out how things are going, how clean things are, what the status of people's health is after, so they're gearing up for a new way of cruising. So, this is a world where everything's changing all the time. We can't stay the same. And I want to liken it to, not only is the solar eclipse in Sagittarius showing you your possibilities alongside your own judgments that stop you and limit you, but we are having a changing of the guards in astrology. And we're just coming out of Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, all in Capricorn. It's been like tyranny in a bottle. Who wants to bottle that and wear it? Yeah, no one. Restriction, limitations, hardship, but it's pushed you to find what's real, what's true. Hey, Roseanne, hi. And Vicky, thanks for joining me today. So, yeah, okay. When Jupiter enters Aquarius, it'll be for 1 year plus minus a month. December 19th, 2020. Saturn enters Aquarius. Capricorn sun rising and moon signs are just jumping up and down, ready for the party. Aquarius is getting ready to roll up the sleeves. And get to work. So on December 14th, let me just run it down. December 14th, solar eclipse in Sagittarius. We're already in it. It will last all through 2021 because there's many other eclipses in 2021 that coincide with this one. And then December, well, let me show you. December, let me get out of the way. Okay, so by December 21st, okay, but December 16th, Saturn will be in Aquarius. By December 19th, Jupiter will be in Aquarius and conjunct. Now, what does this mean? We're going to enter a cycle, another cycle. It's all about cycles. And it's going to be approximately the 10-year cycle. And we'll get into that in another time. I just want to briefly talk about the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction in Aquarius. And it has a lot to do with leaving the restrictive energies, the patriarchal energies, the old guard, the people, the naysayers, the ones. It's like looking from the point of view of living in the 1950s and looking to the future in the 1960s and seeing hippies. What is that? What's that? That can be terrifying to some people. When you go from clean cut, short pants to don't shave your underarms and talk about free love and drop acid. We're looking at a rebellion. That's what it is. It's a rebellion of culture because Sagittarius is all about culture. So the eclipse on December 14th coming up in Sagittarius at 23 degrees. And if you know what your chart looks like, you'll know where it applies to you and how it applies, in which house. But in general, in the charts, we're looking at a counterculture being formed. Not really. It's been the undercurrent, because nothing ever stops or starts on a dime, okay? So it's the undercurrent of, I don't want that anymore in my life. And it's like saying, Aquarius represents humanitarian efforts, aims, vision. But it also, I like to say, in astrology, it's guided by the planet Uranus. And Uranus is freedom from chains, but also the one who makes the chains and the one who makes the bolt cutter. It's slavery on any level, any form that is not inclusive. And then we add the spotlight of the solar eclipse in Sagittarius, which is all about inclusion on the highest vibe. The lowest vibe of Sagittarius is cynical, judgmental, and harmful in its limitations. On the high end, it's inclusive of all cultures, all beings, all ways of life that are not harmful. So when we look at these countercultures emerging, they're not really. It's like a kid saying, when they're 16, I'm getting a tattoo. Dad, or whatever. It's going to go a lot further than that, and we're going to be looking at I'll be talking about a lot of this stuff in the future, so come back, because what we've got coming up is Uranus in Taurus, conjuncting Mars in Taurus in January, and it's going to be, it could be mind-blowing. If you're on a path of conscious awareness and intentional creation, it's like, what? It's a rocket toward your destination. If you are more on the fearful side, it's a shock to the system. If a person is not focused on conscious awareness and compassion, it's all-out war. It's rebellion. So if you look at, and so I'm not saying this to scare you, really, but if you look at time, over time, we see the same cycles over and over and over again. And we're gearing up for a monetary dispensation, monetary retrieval, I don't know what to call it, a revolution. It looks like Bitcoin. It looks like you win all the, okay. It looks like this. Yesterday I read that in Texas at a restaurant, a waitress got a $2,000 tip. Yeah, a $2,000 tip. The owner of the restaurant, however, said that he refused to pay her the tip because, number one, they had a policy that, which she was unaware of. She had just started 2 weeks prior. And the person who gave her the tip said, listen, look up the story. It's okay, you're busy, I get it, because he didn't get his order. He goes, but I have to go, so just, get me the check. And he gave her this big tip because he said he owned restaurants and he so understood what it was like for working people. But the owner of that particular restaurant said that there was a policy plan where tips over $500 would not be distributed. Well, she didn't even get a tip at all. He didn't even give her the $500. So now what she would do, we don't know what she's going to do, but she posted on Facebook looking for this man to say thank you for the tip, because the boss at the restaurant said that, he didn't leave any information, so we don't know, who he is. So she's hoping that he finds out so she can thank him, even though she didn't get the money. And, other people reading it are like, what? Well, now we know what restaurant in Texas is doing this. I would not frequent that. That's a rebellion, right? Depending on what the waitress chooses to do or not, on the high end or the low end, regardless, it's that the situation is happening. So we're going to see things like that happen more and more, where there's like a humanitarian effort. Let's bring all this food to this starving country, nation, people, community. But then the locals, the black market, the whatever's going to try to take over. We see it all the time. It's not anything new. It's just that it's going to be so in your face and it's going to bug you. And you're going to do something about it. And the best thing you can do, okay, this is what I've been talking about for years. The best thing you can do is start on the inside. Focus on the thing that gives you the most joy in as many moments as possible. Why, Elaine, is that like, someone said to me, well, that's almost like being Pollyanna, hiding your head in the sand. There's a real problem out there and we need to address it. And it's like, granted, understood. I see that problem. If I have fear, if I have limitation, I am part of that problem. If I choose not to do something, I am part of that problem. So what I choose to do first and foremost is get it together on the inside, because that's where energy comes from. that's what the universe mirrors back to you. So when I look at this, okay, this is by December 21st, but when I look at this, and we've got Saturn, which represents the structure of society. It is the systems that we set to have community. In Aquarius, humanitarian aims and rebellion. And again, it's going to be both factions. It's like the dark side. Okay, we just finished watching Harry Potter for the, I don't know, Dean, what, 50th time? All the movies this week. And it's like Voldemort dying a little at a time every time the Horcruxes. I'm sorry if I'm giving this away. Is this a spoiler for somebody? Close your ears, because I'm going to talk about Harry Potter. But it's like Voldemort dying a little bit every time the Horcruxes are killed. And so a little piece of you goes with it. But now when you let go of something that no longer serves you, you don't just disappear like Voldemort. Tom, let's call him Tom. But what you do is you replace it with something that is much more powerful, and that is your divine energy. That's your pure conscious love. That's what you are. So how do you want to handle that? What do you want to do? So we're going to be talking about the systems and, again, it's Uranus conjuncting Mars in January. We're also going to be talking about every time Saturn squares Uranus. The last time we had a major thing with Saturn squaring Uranus was 2008. And we know what happened then. And that had to do with monetary systems. Uranus guides the community, the group, the dream come true, the eclectic vision. Neptune is the ideal vision, but Uranus is the let's use technology to make it happen. What did we do this year? We went to Zoom, we went to webinars, we went to online, we went to FaceTime, even more. Wasn't that it didn't already exist, we just did more of it. So Sagittarius is a vibe, the Sagittarius eclipse is a vibe that any eclipse sheds light on. What you're manifesting, what your masculine side is engaged in on all levels. The lunar eclipse, if you're new to this, the lunar eclipse is about feminine energy, and the solar eclipse is about masculine energy. And it's regardless of if you are gender nondescript or bi or gay or straight or cis or pan, it doesn't matter. Everybody carries proactive energy, receptive, allowing energy. Everybody does. Okay, so it's not about gender. But it is about assertion. And in an argument, which is not a fight, an argument is just two different points of view. People think an argument is a fight that produces discomfort. It doesn't. It's just, oh, I saw someone, dye their hair red. And someone might say, well, how do you know that they dyed their hair red? Maybe they were born with it. And so you both discuss amongst yourselves. It's an argument is just a discussion. But it's been distilled over the years down to, I disagree with you, and therefore I'm in an uncomfortable place, and I want to get angry with you, and you with me. And okay, we have to look at our words. Ultimately, if your words and your vibration behind the words match your intention, you're good to go. If, however, you say one thing and do another and feel yet another way, oh boy, the light is going to be shed on what you think is appropriate, but what the universe and your higher self think is even more truthful for you. A timely healing. We don't always like to have timely healings because we think, wait, I'm not ready. Someone says, oh no, it wouldn't happen if you weren't ready for it. You can't handle more than you are given, right? It's like, this is the thing. But yet we have reactions like, no, I don't want that to happen. I didn't want to lose my job. But deep down, if you thought about it, we have a friend who got a week's notice. He'd only been at the job for less than a year. Then COVID, the whole business, but he was able to work at home, and then his hours were cut, and then the days were cut, and then it's like, I'm sorry, we can't. But the boss said, I want to help you find other work. Here are some contacts. And the contacts that he had on the job with other companies said, oh man, send us your resume. Maybe we can find a place for you. So it's like the community is already working. Because he believes that that's going to happen. So that's what's happening for him. And we're very proud of him because of that. But I said to him, are you upset? He goes, nah, I really wasn't that crazy about the job anyway. So it's like, okay. Right, deep down, he knew. He's like, well, it's good for now. It's an income until I focus on other things, until I do this other thing. But for now, it's good for now. So a lot of us we're okay with this until it gets taken away. And then you go, wait a minute, I don't like that something got taken away. But if you're honest about it and you really think it through, it could be, you know what, it just gave me more time with my family, or I really needed to stop this thing, this behavior, this job, this hobby, this whatever swirling in my head, because it was counterproductive. So when we're looking at Saturn, which is the architecture of the building, what do we put in the building? Well, it's Aquarius. It's going to be revolutionary. It's going to be evolutionary. And I'm going to have to do some evolutionary cutting of my bangs soon because I can't see you. I can't see. I'm doing this. I can't see. Okay. So does that make sense? Who's here? Hey, Rikara, you're here. You're here. I'm so happy. So when I'm looking at the Sagittarius eclipse, I'm excited because I love eclipse season. I already had my lunar eclipse experience and it threw me. It threw me because, but not for long. I just got stuck in a thought pattern, an old one that came up. I had a physical healing, which was fantastic. But then other things came up, emotional healing. And it was like, the smoke rose in front of my face and I couldn't clear it away until I faced it and I felt it. And then I chose to move it. That's the hard part for a lot of people, is choosing to let it go. So now I'm excited about the solar eclipse because always they work in tandem, 2 weeks apart every 6 months. Sometimes there's a sandwich and there's 3 eclipses like there was last summer, July in 2020. But this particular December eclipse it's like a momentum toward your truth. Look at it that way, in whatever subject. Now, if it occurs in the first house of, let me just move this. If it occurs, let me move this up here because, there we go. If it occurs in the first house, it's about your childhood traumas, your body parts, your personality, your independence. The second house, the solar eclipse, relates to your finances, your income, but ultimately your self-worth and how you handle resources and what kind of structures you want to set around budgets or money, income, and outflow. If the solar eclipse happens in the third house for you, then it's looking at how you communicate. Where are the judgments? Where do you limit yourself? Why do you insist that this belief is working for you when it's really not? Or are you judging others for being different than you? Or do you have a brilliant idea that you want to put out into the world in order to help someone heal, teach someone, expand, or experience something new? Now, the houses always work in opposites. So the first house is opposite the seventh house. So it's independence, individual independence. It's partnership, marital first, business partnership, and then clients or fans. So we always look at the axis, AXIS, right? The second house would be money, the money I make, the money I spend with others or invest with others, insurance and taxes. It's also spiritual and sexual energy here as well. So self-worth and the energy you share with others. Third house, what you learn, what you believe, what you express, but starts with the synapses in your head and what you're thinking, to the ninth house, which is higher consciousness, which is travel to different lands in your mind through study or research or with actual, on an airplane. or the travel industry, but it's also foreign matters and legal matters. Legal matters and your higher consciousness and what it is you think can happen to you because of what you believe. Fourth house is the feminine parent. 10th house is the masculine parent. And this is home life, real estate, your four walls, what goes on inside, your self-worth, your inner identity. This is your outer identity, your career, your life direction. Even if you don't have a job, people see you in a certain way. And or the relationship you have to the masculine parent. And any fame, public notoriety. Fifth house is children, creativity, play, resources, problem solving, risk taking. And its axis is the 11th house of groups. Groups. Your dreams coming true, friends, associations, memberships, elders, mentors, grandparents, and working with the team or allowing the team to help you. Sixth house, let me move my cursor. Sixth house is health first, physical well-being. The 12th house axis is your mental health and researching, being more alone, productive, connection to the divine, or your higher inner consciousness, higher inner self-consciousness. And healing as well. But this is also work productivity in the community. And small pets, large animals, yes, but mostly horses. Horses. I think that's from Harry Met Sally. Okay, I have like a high school hairdo here. So, right? So then we come full circle. So the sixth house is your work productivity, but also your health. So whether you have the lunar eclipse here or the solar eclipse, you're pulling in both. The polarity equals the whole. So that's what I want you to look at. Does that make sense? Let me just get rid of that for a second and put up my pretend Christmas background. Vicky says, that's my husband's exact story. Huh. Curious. Is he any part of Virgo or Aries, sun, rising, or moon? Just curious. So the thing that I'd like you to look at too is during this time, no matter what is ending, because there are always endings in eclipses and they are facilitated because of your soul's need for growth. That's what it is. So I'm playing with the astro dice right now, and let's look at what that can mean to you. And the soul's growth is always timely because you on every level are creating a vibration that you output into the world that creates a wave, and that wave attracts to it, brings to you the thing, or keeps the thing from you because some part of you says, I'm not ready, or I don't want that. But there's no, in manifesting, there's no real not wanting. You can cancel something and switch tracks and up your vibe toward the positive. But if you say, yeah, I don't want that kind of a job. That's what I don't want. Okay, then you won't get it. Then you won't get anything because you're not focused on the thing you actually would like to get. Does that make sense? But then if we hyper-focus and we don't let it go, and I got to drop those 20 pounds before Christmas, or I'm getting married, or got to go to my son's, graduation, got to drop that 20 pounds, got to drop that 20 pounds, and you work. It happened to a friend of mine. Her son was getting married, and she worked out for 6 months, and nothing happened. And then she got fitted for her dress, and she was so disappointed, and it was so sad for her because she worked so hard. And I said, what are you ingesting? Aside from the working out, what are you ingesting? It turned out to be soy. And soy was not working with her body at her age. I don't think it works with many bodies. But it depends on the kind of soy. So I'm not saying, a cultural thing. But you have to see, what's the big picture? What's the full picture? You got to know what you like, where you'd like to head, act as if, put it out there toward it, then pull back a little bit and focus on things that give you joy in as many moments as possible. That's the formula. It's so simple. How many other ways might I say it for you? Because I say it in many different ways for me. So whatever I say for me, I'm going to say for you. So you can get what you want. And you can start to manifest the things that you think you have to work hard for, that you don't know enough about yet before they come. You think it's going to be too tiring. Like the list of the not enoughs. That's what I'm talking about. Make sense? Okay, let me roll the dice. Anybody here have any comments or questions? Please remember to share, like, subscribe, whether you're watching this in Facebook and or on YouTube, because you're going to help me get the word out. That's what it's all about. Community. I will be putting together an event with my husband's going to help me put the event together. And, we're going to do some activation codes. And it'll be in the month of December, and it'll be a very nominal fee. We're going to go from crappy to happy, and I want to show you how to get there. And you're going to bring me one problem that has been going on forever, and we're going to break the pattern. And we're going to coincide this. It'll probably, I'm looking at possibly the 19th of December. I don't know yet. But we'll post something online. It'll be a Zoom. It'll be a group in a Zoom. We'll all see each other if you want to be seen. And you get to spend time with me. And we go as deep as possible with one question, one issue. I'm excited about that. I woke up yesterday and that was my thing. I said to Dean, I want to do from crappy to happy. I've been talking about it and we're going to do it. And it'll be, probably $55 to join. And you'll benefit from hearing other people's information as well, because I'm going to be in full channel mode. Okay, so let's see. Working with the solar eclipse energy. We're going to talk more in the future about Saturn and Jupiter going into Aquarius. But right now, we're working with the solar eclipse energy in Sagittarius, 23 degrees. What's the advice? Oh, okay. We like this. Oh. So here's what it looks like. It looks like Jupiter. And Jupiter is expansion. Jupiter is publishing. It's foreign affairs. Jupiter is cultural. It is overindulgence on the low end. It's single-minded on the low end. On the high end, it's inclusive because it guides Sagittarius. And it's philosophical. It's not so much religious, but it is spiritual. And the expansion of compassion. That's the topic. This is how it feels. Feels like Scorpio, feels like a desire. Feels like I really want to do this thing. I really want to help these people. I really, really, really love fill in the blank. Makes me so happy. I'm ready to cut the crap. Scorpio knows how to cut the crap. And when they do, they don't go back. It's like, I'm done. You've betrayed me. We've talked about it. You did it again. Bye. I admire Scorpio energy. So it's expansion. Wait. I'm trying to twist my fingers here. There's Jupiter. It's expansion. I need to be an octopus right now. With desire, expanding on your desires and breaking the ties to toxic things. Breaking the ties to toxic things. Scorpio has two symbols. And the first one is the scorpion, where the tail can get you. And the tail that gets you wakes you up, or it's the sting of betrayal or manipulation, jealousy, or physical toxic elements. Or the second symbol is the phoenix bursting into flames, rising from the ashes, and the rebirth. And where it takes place? Second house, folks, second house. So that's focused on your self-worth first, and then your money, your income, or your resources. Time, energy, money, that kind of stuff. So what we want to focus on is expansion of your inner self-worth, focused on cutting the ties to things that are toxic to you and expanding on that that desire that you have, and trusting that your needs will be met, that you are abundant. Does that make sense? Hello? It's a quiet crowd today. Okay. I think this is where we're going to put a stopper on for today. Because when I come back, and just some key things, when I come back on, what is today, Thursday? When I come back on Monday the 7th, can you believe it's December already? What? When I come back on Monday the 7th, we're going to talk a little bit more about the eclipse. And again, a little bit more about Jupiter and Saturn entering Aquarius, because now is when you can look at what was, that burden, that feeling of, work, got to work at something, got to work at letting it go, got to work at the relationship, got to work at finding a job, got to work at reducing stress, got to work. And now it's going to be more expansive. So I want you to start making that shift along, because the planets are telling me you're making this change. It's not the planets making the change that's going to do it to you. Does that make sense? It's the reflection. Your energy moves out into the world and creates matter. So what's the matter? You're the matter. What do you want to do with it? You're pure conscious love. You can soar emotionally over obstacles and struggles. And it's showing me, and this is why I'm so excited, not because I'm a Capricorn rising and I've had it up to here for 2.5 years with my own pressure and stress, but I've learned to work it out, and I'm healing because of it. So when it's like people go, oh, it's just a test. The universe is testing you. There are no tests. There is no pass or fail. There's the moment of who you are in any moment, and the output of your frequency. If you are not putting out, wait a minute, let me finish that sentence. Are you underage? If you're not putting out the energy of love, compassion, expansion, trust, then it's questionable what you'll get back. Because then it's like you say one thing, do another. What is the universe going to do if it's trying to fulfill the order? It mirrors to you what you are doing, what you are saying, thinking, feeling on every level. Conscious, unconscious, non-conscious, subconscious, superconscious, higher conscious, inner conscious. Okay? Your etheric body is the one right outside your physical form. It always shows in an aura what's coming based on what you're creating. So when I see auras in people, it's fascinating, because I'll say, oh, how are you feeling? Because I'll see a color or a streak or something, go, oh, how are you feeling? Like, I feel great. Oh, okay. Well, just in case something comes up in the next, few weeks, and you start to feel a little bit resentful or angry, let's talk about ways you can move through it. Right? So you want to be that in tune with yourself. It's not that hard, really. It's just paying attention. And I am going to cut my bangs this weekend. I promise. Because it's like, they're so long. Okay. So when we talk about initiating power, not force, power, it can move through you in as many moments as possible, no matter where you go. When you start to spiral down and you say, oh, I ordered a coat to give as a gift, and the deadline is Saturday and it didn't come, and I have to spend time and call, Kohl's or where were you, Amazon, and where is my, relax. The energy that you output is creating a frequency that does not coincide with who you. I was looking for my phone because our kid was on the phone the other day. My husband is talking on a conference call. I can hear him, or I would ask him to get my phone. I was talking to my kid the other day. They're 21 now. Their preferred pronoun is they. And they were undergoing stress at a new job. And there's a lot of noise level. It's a doggy daycare. This is like barking and shrieking and yelping. And it's 5 hours of that. And they're starting to feel stressed. And literally the FaceTime, we use WhatsApp, and the FaceTime image like fragmented. And I said, you are an Aquarius rising. You just showed me your true colors. I am going to find that image and I'm going to show it to you on Monday of what energy can look like when you're frantic. I mean, it was just pixels of color. And I sent it to them this morning. I go, I found it. I wanted to send this to you to show you what you look like when you're stressed. And they laughed. So, Laura. Hi, Laura. It does. Thank you. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Okay. So from between now and the next time we speak, we're going to be building an energy toward an inner revolution, folks. What's it going to look like in the world? We'll be talking about that in the weeks and months to come. But the old guard is leaving. And part of that old guard, like I said up top, is your inner self-sabotaging mechanism because you're afraid of something. And sometimes you don't know what you're afraid of until it actually shows in the face, or you think about it and you go, I don't want to, like when people would, ask for a reading, but I don't attract these people anymore. So it's a testimony to my own energy. But they'll say, I don't want to know anything bad. And I'm like, what's bad? And someone will say, well, like dying. I'm like, well, you're going to die. Am I the first to tell you this? Like, you're going to die. Let's talk about living. Let's talk about what goes on between now and that moment of transition where you continue on. So we want to start changing our words and our definitions. Is it bad or good? No. It may not feel good. If somebody says something and it hurts your feeling and you say, oh my gosh, that really hurt me. Okay, well then that's where you go to start to move that energy so you don't judge them. Scott, I have a bag of... So you don't judge them. Instead, you turn around and say, why do I feel judged? I feel judged because, and then you come up with, I'm insecure every time I talk to them. Or they think they know it all. It's not about them. It's about you. Well, if you're standing in your power, nobody can poke a hole in you. So it's not about becoming indignant or never speaking to that person again or not sending them Christmas cards or, they're off your happy list, whatever. It's about turning around and looking inside. Turn it around, look inside. Where do you feel insecure? Where do you feel judged in the world? Where do you feel not enough? The solar and lunar eclipses are here to spotlight that, not make it happen for you or to you, but to spotlight it so that you can clean it up. Once you clean up your energy and you go, I'm going to move out of that. I know they said something hurtful. I want to process it for a little while, see what I think about it. But right now I'm going to do something that for me. I'm going to nurture me right now. And I'm going to take care of myself. And then the very next time I think about them, if the memory is akin to what you had for breakfast 3 weeks ago, whatever that was, all right, you're good. But if it brings up, oh my God, and I can't believe it, and how could they do that? And you get yourself and you work yourself up into a state, you are outputting energy and a frequency that stops all the stuff that you want. It's that simple. Does that make sense? So we want to see you get what you want. When I work with all my spirit squad, whether they be starseed or, my peeps, angels, passed on loved ones, they're all there saying the same thing. You have such power. You have so much power. But power doesn't mean, like having to get out there like an Avenger, although that's coming for a lot of people, to stand up and say, no, I don't agree with you. But here's how I see it. Here's how I'd like to approach it. Let's work together on this because it's about community. It's about setting up a new structure because we've been through it this year, haven't we? This is a year of what the... We've been through it. Now we're going to set up something else and say, no matter what you believe, and thinking somebody created a virus to out some of the population, the weaker of the population. If you believe that it's a punishment, if you believe whatever you believe, it's your reaction or response to the situation. That is what I look at. and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but let me tell you, I have seen some things that, and reading certain clients that I have in the world who are in certain industries and what they've shared, it's no surprise to me that we're suddenly looking at like, oh, we have this naivete about we're going to be taken care of. You know, my family, my government, my religious leader, my membership to the gym. It's like if I paid a price, if I donated, if I contributed, and I'm a good person, but then they do something, the guru, the politician, the government, the royal family, then the militia comes by and you're like, what is happening? What just happened? The bottom fell out. What? And you don't know what to believe. Believe what is true for you, not so much about them, but what is true for you. Because I know, and if you haven't heard the story of me manifesting my phone, I lost my phone in Walmart. I was buying some donations to send to Peru, and I get to the checkout and I pay for everything. I go to the car and I'm patting down my pockets like I usually do. Get my wallet, my glasses, my phone is not there. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe I dropped it in a bag, and I'm looking in all the bags. Oh, so I'm thinking and expending a lot of energy trying to figure out what happened, trying to think of the memory of what happened. When did I last use it? And I never use it in Walmart because I have no reception. So I went back into the store and I thought, okay, just go to the source. So I went to the checkout lady. She's like, oh, let me help you look. Well, if it's not here, it could be at the returns desk. I was like, okay. So it's a very long line. So I'm waiting in line, and I was on the brink of, not feeling anxiety, but on the brink of like, oh, if I lose it, then it's like a cost and a thing, and it's a pain in the butt. And I went, and then I stopped and I went, no, I practice what I preach. My needs are met. Christmas always works out for me, and every day is Christmas because I love Christmas, not because of presents, but because of the lights, the feeling, the vibe of joy. Ever since I was a kid, I was just like, I even said that to a neighbor once. She's like, you can't have Christmas every day. It's all presents, and it wouldn't make, it wouldn't be special. I'm like, oh, but it's not about the presents. I tried to tell her I was 9 years old. It's not about the presents. It's a feeling that I want every day. Anyway, so I'm in Walmart, and then I see looked like an official manager walk by, and excuse me, I think I lost my phone. Oh, let me go check in the back. And so she's gone. I'm looking at the clock. It's 7 minutes, 8 minutes. All right. Usually I hang back. Now I decided to become more proactive. So the line has diminished to nothing. I walk to one gal and I say, oh, I lost my phone. And I was told to check here. And then the woman next to her in a thick Spanish accent said, oh, I was calling you. And so it turned out she saw me drop my phone. She was maybe 10 feet behind me. And she called to me, but I didn't answer. So she took my phone and brought it to the desk. And so a friend of mine said, when I told her the story, and she said, well, why didn't she just run up to you and tap you on the shoulder? And I said, I didn't go there because that would be the blame, the judgment, the victim, the annoyance, the vibe I don't choose to have any longer. So I said to her, thank you so much. My needs are met. It was a true testimony and an example of this little bit of mistrust in me was like 2%, resulted in me having to wait 28 minutes to get my phone back. Resulted in her not tapping me on the shoulder. I don't blame her. That was my gig. That's my energy exercise. Make sense? So the very next time you start to doubt something, turn it around. Do something. Go neutral. Negative. I've been talking about this for years. Negative to neutral to positive. My needs are met. My needs are met. My needs are met. Even if I don't know how to meet them. I'm just going to do something that makes me really happy right now. Crossword puzzle, bake some cookies, listen to music, whatever. Rake the lawn, put up Christmas decorations, whatever it is. Put yourself in a happy place. And then see what happens. Okay, folks, I'm back on Monday. Have a beautiful weekend. And come back, please, and let people know that I'm here so I can help. Okay, Be well. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being. And as always, I wish you peace.